The youth sport idol is lying to you. It's lying. It's not going to deliver what it promises to deliver. Just enjoy, let your kid play this sport that they enjoy. It's a game. You worry more about paying attention to what it means for them to walk with Jesus in the midst of it.
All right, we got Ed Uszynski, Brian Smith in the studio.
Are you happy they're here?
I'm happy, but Ed keeps saying he beat me in Papa Shot. Well, we're going to find out today if he can still beat me.
3 times,
I'm going to
y'all.
say he
3
must have beat me.
times.
I don't believe he did. But
It's kind of a competition
And
time.
were you there? Did you watch him beat me?
No, I didn't.
Okay, it didn't happen. Okay, so we're going to start over. We're glad you guys are here, and we're going to talk about Away Game, a book you wrote about youth sports. But I had a question for you about youth sports. Give me your best youth sports moment in your life. Did you have a moment that was like epic?
Well, I remember, I do have one.
Okay.
From my own youth sports life. It actually was in baseball, even though basketball was the sport that I, started focusing on once I got to high school. But our team had never won the championship before, and I was pitching in the final game.
How old?
12 years old.
12.
And we ended up winning. It was the final win for me. I was 10-0 that season. I threw a knuckleball as a 12-year-old that moved all over the place.
Intentional knuckleball?
You can turn your head like that if you want, Brian Smith. This is my story.
Hey, Brian, do you remember your record when you were 12 years old? Would you know if you're 10-0?
Well, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life. You wanted a youth sports. That was one of the best things that ever happened in my sports life.
Well, keep going. We have to hear the whole thing.
There was nothing dramatic about it. We just won.
You just won.
And had
Remember
never
this
won
season.
before. Yeah, and I had a perfect season as a pitcher.
Did you have a complete game? You pitched the whole game?
Oh, yeah.
Did the knuckle?
It moved all over the
It
place.
did?
Everybody was freaked out by it. And then as a 13 and 14-year-old, it started getting hit for home runs, actually.
Were you
'Cause it
tall
wasn't
for a
going-
12-year-old?
I wasn't the tallest in our league. We had 6'6", 6'7" kids already. I still remember a guy named
Really?
Glenn Arball. I remember some of their names.
And every
yes.
parent's like, oh, that kid's 14 years old.
No, not with me. They weren't.
They weren't?
No.
Okay.
But they thought I had some kind of weird voodoo going on, making the ball move.
Like the spitter.
That was the high point of my
That's amazing.
of my athletic life, maybe.
There it is,
Wow.
12 years
Yeah.
old.
So
And-
Papa Shot didn't even make the didn't even make the
No,
top. huh?
Papa Shot was. I wasn't
Okay.
surprised by
You weren't
that.
trying?
No.
Okay.
Brian, what's yours?
I don't want to give a baseball one, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. Chad Bohm was a left-handed pitcher, my same grade. This is probably like 11 or 12 years old. And he was a flamethrower. And so at that age, he was like throwing 60 something and nobody could hit him, but he also had a temper. And so if you even if you hit a foul ball or something, a lot of times he'll like throw at you. And I could usually make contact with the ball, but I was just notoriously afraid of somebody hitting me. And so there was one time when I remember just like back of the batter's box and he just threw a heater and I just swung. My eyes were probably closed and I smoked it. And I think I ended up being like a double or a triple. And he probably hit me the next time I was at the plate.
Great memory.
But one of my memories
good
was
one.
I got a double off of Chad Bohm.
Nice.
All right. Chad, I hope you're listening.
Yeah, he's still working
too,
through that
Chad.
today.
Don't come after him
Yes.
now. It's over.
He's still working through that
I
today.
hope so.
Okay.
I hope so.
And you got one?
Wait, do you have one? Because it's kind of Super Bowl time,
Yeah.
Do you have a football one or is yours going to be baseball too?
Football one. No, you go first. I hadn't
Okay.
even thought of one. I was thinking of these guys.
I was 10 years old. I was in a regional gymnastics meet. It was multi-states. And my coach came up to me, and because our team really needed to do well, and he comes up to me and goes, I want you to do a front tuck in your floor routine. I'm like, I've never done it in a gymnastics meet. He goes, no, I want you to do it. And so, you guys, this is back in the day where the floors weren't bouncy and great and padded. It was awful. It was terrible. And so I was so nervous. There's so many people. So I go and I do this front tuck and I bomb it so bad. Like I fall so hard. And I was hurt so bad and I finished it. I don't even know how I got through it, but I was crying as I was finishing because I was so hurt. I don't think I've told you this.
Good moment.
We're
Have
learning
I
things
ever
right
t-
here on
because
Family Life
highlight.
today.
I don't think of. I don't think of
I
the.
thought there was a highlight
You
coming.
guys, I
supposed
don't
to be
think of
your
the
best.
Harry
highlights.
Strug.
Oh, did you
It's
say it's
coming.
the best?
Yeah,
I thought you said it was the
best.
most memorable.
Well, okay, memorable.
Well, that one was memorable.
I was going to ask the worst, but
Oh, I've got a longer list of those.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we
okay.
could take up a whole
I was
show
thinking
with-
most memorable.
No.
Highlight was coming back from a tennis tournament I was in, and coming back. You know it more than I do because you've said it. Because we were dating.
oh, this is amazing. In fact, the guys I play tennis with today still say, "Oh, you going to do the Ann Barron?" The Ann Barron, that was her maiden name. She's in a tournament, and I wasn't a tennis guy growing up. Now I play, but I didn't understand tennis. But I know this from playing now. Whenever it's a single sport, when nobody else but you, it's so mental. Best of 3 sets. She loses the first set 6-0. She's down 5-0, 40-love second set. One more point, match over, and she wins the match.
Wow. Has that ever happened before?
I don't know, but I'm always like, okay, I'm down. I'm going to be Ann Barron.
It
right
wasn't
now.
that I was so good. I was so in my head and so bad at the beginning.
She's good. Trust me.
I don't even know how I came back from that. Maybe because you were there and you were watching.
All I know is that's why I married her.
That's an amazing moment.
That is, isn't it?
Yes.
That is,
That's like
girl.
impossible.
Or is it?
Wow.
Or was I just not
Anyway,
playing up to my
The
potential?
reason we're
at the
talking about
beginning?
this, I thought it'd be interesting.
You have to do yours.
Youth, high school. What are you talking about?
You said
You
a
asked
youth
the question.
sports.
Okay,
memory. High Point.
Findlay, Ohio. It's where I grew up. Ann and I
Barely.
are both from maybe a 40, 50,000, people city. And we had an all-star game, North versus the South. I was in the North. And I pitched and played shortstop. And we got beat 13-2. And I scored both runs. I got on somehow, and literally nobody hit the ball because they had their great pitchers.
Yep.
And I literally got home by a pass ball, and then I got up in the bottom of the 6th or 7th and hit a home run. I hit a fence. And I have a picture
He does.
of Steve Lishawa. Steve, are you listening? Steve was our, hit maturity early, so he was a big
Beast.
guy. He
Yep.
scored every point
Yep.
in basketball, and he literally hold me above his head. I had this little picture of me and all the kids around me, so that was my moment. Here's the thing. I was gonna say worst sports moment. I lost the state championship by throwing the longest touchdown pass still in Ohio State history. 97-yard interception to Cincinnati Moeller to lose the state championship. So we're not going to go there. But here's the thing.
We were in the same conference. That's a little known fact. Same high school conference, Buckeye Conference, Findlay,
Yeah.
Elyria.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Yeah.
were you in Elyria?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
You
went
know,
to
my
Elyria
dad
High
was the
School.
Buckeye Conference commissioner.
No.
Hey, this is
Different show.
This is-
Different show, but I want to hear about that.
this is great Family Life Today broadcast right now. They're like, what are you guys doing talking about sports? Well, here's the thing. I mean,
This
Maybe
is
all
all
this will
getting
be cut out.
This is all getting
no,
cut.
they'll cut it out. But, I endorsed your book, and we get asked to endorse books, and usually we skim them because you don't have time, and you got to make sure what you're endorsing you actually believe in.
Yep.
Because I got in trouble one time, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was in there, and I didn't read it close enough. And Ann's like, you put our name on this book, and you didn't read it. So I read them really close. But I think I might have even said this in the endorsement. I don't remember, but I started your book. I couldn't put it down. I read the whole thing. I think in like 3 hours. Fast, but I read it because it was so, I think, needed for parents, especially of kids in youth sports. And we just talked about youth sports. And here's the thing: I'm not going to tell people how old we are, but we're old. All of us are.
I don't
Getting
think
up
they're
there.
very old.
No, I'm just saying to the average person, we're not in our 30s. You guys are in your 40s, maybe.
57, dude.
There you go.
We're
Brian.
old.
43.
There you
I
go.
was going to say,
We're
you've got to be
old.
early.
We got an old guy and a
40s.
young guy. But here's the thing. We bring up the topic of youth sports and memories, and right away we all have strong memories. And I bet we
Yep.
could keep talking. That's
For
just
sure.
one.
Yeah.
It's the power and pressure that sports brings.
Yeah.
We all felt like if you're in it, you felt it. But now as parents, I think it's a hard one to navigate because it's all consuming now.
For sure.
Different probably than all of us growing up. It's even more so.
Yeah. And one of the things I was amazed when I picked up your book was you did a sort of a history of how we got to where we are. We're talking about youth sports in a day when most of the time we played in the backyard.
Yeah, sandlot games.
Yeah. And then we had a game here and there. Now, and we have grandkids, and I've been there on these fields, and it's pressure, and it's 4 or 5 games a week and practice.
Well, you guys know this. Take us there.
Take us to how we got here.
Look, the book does not read as a lecture. It reads more like a confessional.
Yeah.
Because Brian and I looked up at each other a decade ago. We were already working together in sport ministry with college athletes, but we were both coaching. We both had kids that were entering the youth sport world. And we started having these conversations where it's like, we don't know what we're doing. And we're completely overwhelmed. You're on this fast moving train that you just had to jump on with your 8-year-old. You're not exactly sure where it's going, but it doesn't feel like it's to a good place. But we're going.
Yeah.
And so we said, there's, as Christians, even, how do we think and operate like Christians in this space? We weren't trying to pull ourselves completely out of it. We didn't want to be completely swept up in it. But then what? There's not a ton of teaching about how you do that well as a Christian. So we just started to talk about it with each other and started to do our own research, started to gather our own stories, made plenty of our own mistakes, and said, let's start the conversation in the Christian space, or at least add to the little that's there to say, here's a different way forward. Let's be countercultural in the sports, what we're calling the youth sports industrial complex. Let's find a way to, just like in every other aspect of Christian life, trying to live in a secular society, let's be different. What would that look like?
Our vision at Family Life is every home, a godly home, and we need your help to get there. When you become a Family Life partner, your monthly support makes that vision actually possible.
Yeah, you'll get access to exclusive updates and events and the chance to join our partners-only online community. But more than that, you're helping change the future of families. So the question is, will you come alongside us and alongside families in need?
You can go to FamilyLifeToday.com and read more about it and become a partner. Just click the donate button at the top. And again, that's FamilyLifeToday.com.
Okay, back to our conversation.
Yeah, we say from the start, we love sports. Like we're sports guys. And so when we come at this conversation, it's not like we're saying we need to completely eject from the process, or we don't want to go all bad on sport. We really do love all of the beautiful moments that sports bring. And so what we're trying to help ourselves, but also parents realize is really 2 things. One, we want a growing awareness of just what the youth sport industrial complex is, so we can have common language for it, categories. We can recognize it when we see it. We can understand what it's trying to do to us, how it's shaping and forming us and our kids. But we don't want to just complain about it and bemoan just the truth of what it is today. We want to act Christianly in the space. And so start by let's have language and categories to understand it, but then let's learn how to use youth sports as a vehicle to actually disciple our kids. And that's a large part of what the book's about too, is how do you take the moments that are happening on the field, the court, the pool, and turn those into discipleship opportunities. Because whether you're paying $100 or $1,000, it becomes a pretty worthwhile investment if your kid's actually learning how to be more patient and learning how to love and learning things like self-control and joy. If all we're doing is throwing all this money into a system and hoping that they become a college athlete, that's not a good investment.
We keep throwing the biblical character Daniel around, that we really want to walk in his footsteps and do what he and his friends did. And obviously, they weren't doing anything with youth sports, but they were in an intensely secular culture in Babylon that was completely anti their God. And they had to make a choice. Were they going to completely separate from it and create a holy huddle over here on the side where they completely distance themselves from it? On the other extreme, are they just going to say, hey, God doesn't seem to be active right now. Let's just go with the flow. When in Rome, do as Romans do, right? We're just going to get swept up in it. No, they stayed right in the middle of it and showed what it looks like to be obediently involved in Babylonian culture. They walked with God in the midst of it and locked arms with each other. They didn't try to do it as individuals. So we think there's something to that too. You lock arms with a handful of other people that are saying, on our watch, in our little corner of the bleachers, let's do this different. Let's do it different.
Is that what away game means? Your title?
Largely that it came from the biblical character Daniel, but also this idea of when you're playing a home game, there's just some like comfort, familiarity. When you go to an away game, you have to be on your game. Like, you don't know where the bathrooms are. I experienced this year. Any football game you go to, the away section is always like the sun is just shining bright in your face. And you're like, we actually sat with the home side when we were at away games because it's so miserable. But we think a large part of the problem is we, especially as Christian parents, we go into the youth sport experience expecting it to be like a home game feel and expecting to have some semblance of control. And then the ref makes a bad call, or the coach doesn't give our kid playing time, or our coach messes up, and we learn really quickly, like, we actually don't have any control over the process. And so the whole thing is like this away game. Just expect it to be a little chaotic and out of control.
You guys both have kids.
4.
Yeah,
I have 4.
kids,
Brian has 3. Yeah.
3 kids. And I'm assuming they're in sports, and we're in sports, or are in sports. What was that experience like for you? Did you feel that pull? You said that a little bit, Ed. What did that look like for you guys and your family? And what did the conversations sound like? I want to ask you that because I remember getting into this. I think our son was 4. He didn't know anything. He's on the soccer field, our first son. And this mom goes, did you sign up for this, the travel league? Like, no. She goes, oh, you better. Because if you don't do it, he's never going to be able to go to the next level. And I remember saying to Dave, like, do we want him to go? Like, what? But you feel this pressure.
Yeah.
So take us there.
Well, so I think that's a great thing to put on the table, that there's a whole bunch of different things that create pressure for us. But I wonder if the biggest one is this fear of not realizing an imagined future. You've got this picture in your mind of what you want for him or for her, whether that's high school or it's in college or maybe even beyond. You've already, as a parent, started thinking about what that's going to look like. And so now we're going to try to backfill as a 6-year-old. And again, we call it an industrial complex because it's a $40 billion machine that knows that we feel that way and says, oh, we've got what your 6-year-old needs if you want them to turn into that, whatever that is, okay? You need to start focusing now. You need to specialize now. You have to pay money now. You got to get with this team, this coach, go to this tournament across these 3 state lines. You got to keep going. Every day you're not doing that, you're already behind. And now that's happening with every single kid in every single sport, okay, at the same time. And it really ends up being a lie. Again, I've got 3 kids now that are in college. I've got one that's in 9th grade, so we keep saying I got one more chance to get this right. Just one more chance. I was talking to Brian about it this morning. It's just a lie. That, like, you're not in control. I like how Brian used that word, control. We're not in control of their sport future as much as we think we are. If they wind up being any good, it will be largely because God gave them a physical body that does things differently than the vast majority of other people, and you can't control that. And they've got a mentality that makes them different. They want to work on their left hand. They want to do the thing that other kids don't want to do to get better. And you can't make them do that. You can't make them do that. So we've said this actually is an encouragement that knowing that, it should free us up to just go to the 10-year-old soccer game and enjoy watching her or him play instead of being constantly stressed that they're not performing at this level they need to be performing as a 10-year-old so that they can get where we want them to be when they're 13, and then they can make their team when they're 17, and they can, right?
Okay, so what's going on in that parent's mind from, and you guys are parents, so you can relate as a dad, but I mean, I coached in Michigan at public high schools, and I started middle school. So, and part of it is
you coached all the way through from like 8-year-olds.
Yeah. So you know what I'm going to say, because I wanted to be there when my sons were on there as well. And then even after I went on to college, I stayed. And, I just wanted to be an influence in a public high school.
You stayed in the same school at the same level.
I coached at the public high school. Yeah, about 4 or 5 more years.
But when your kids weren't there, you were still coaching in that space.
Because I was there, and I actually did a chapel for the school on Thursday nights before our Friday night games as well. So it was like amazing ministry.
Yeah.
These kids that never went to church and their families never went to church showed up every Thursday and listened to Pastor Chaplain Coach Dave talk about Jesus in a public high school. And then we had dinner. But here's what I was going to say. When I helped out at middle school basketball, and a lot of these kids, this is going to be their first thing. So we had tryouts, and I bet there's 50 or 70 boys coming at gym. And you guys know this, in 30 seconds, I could eliminate all but 15 of them. Go home.
Yeah.
There's no way you're ever going to make this team. You don't have the gift. There's no way. And their parents are over there thinking they're going to play in the NBA. And they would be mad at me right now for saying that I could judge them in 30 seconds. And as an athlete, you can. They don't have what you said, God-given ability to do it. That doesn't mean maybe some of them can outwork it and be good, but most of them don't have it. And yet I know in the high school, those parents are mad at me because their kid's not playing. And I'm like, I'm there with them every night, sir. He's not the best. You know what I mean? So what happens to a parent? What's going on in a parent's mind when they can't see, like, maybe he's an artist. Maybe he's, you know what I mean? He's got other gifts. She has other gifts. It's not this one, but they are convinced it has to be on the soccer field.
Yeah. And this is when we talk about being formed and shaped by culture. A lot of what sport culture is forming us by is telling us that we are one club away from our kid making it. We're one coach. We're one $600 bat away from our kid finally being able to hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
And there's really never been a better time to be an entrepreneur than right now within the context of youth sports, because well-intentioned parents, we really do want what's best for our kids. And so we want to make sure we say that too. Like, a lot of these parents are like, they're not crazy, they're well-intentioned, but we've just been discipled so much by youth culture saying, if you just pay a little bit more, if you just join this, if you just do that, then out on the other end, you're going to have this all-star athlete who's going to get all these great opportunities. And sports just doesn't work that way. Yeah. So what I would say to these parents is research is clear. Like, this isn't just a hunch or a hot take. Research is showing that the more money we spend on our kids in youth sports, the less they actually enjoy it.
Really?
Which let that sink in for a second.
Let that sink in.
The more money we spend on our kids, the data is saying the less fun our kids are actually having.
Oh, what's going on? Why is that?
Think about why. Yeah. Well, why do you think it is? Why do you think that might be?
They feel the pressure.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. You buy the kid the nice bat, and you're traveling across state line, and you switch from the normal rec league to now this club elite team. Again, well-intentioned, there's going to be a great opportunity for our kid, but the kids know something's going on. Like, as they get more and more investment into them, they're feeling like there's something on the line here. It's not just about play anymore. I actually have to perform. And that's really, really hard for college athletes to perform that type of level when there's a lot of pressure. We've taken almost a professional college level of sport and put it on 6 to 10-year-olds, and they're crippling under it.
Wow. I've shared this story here before, but I was 9 years old. No, I think I was 10 when I had competed really well in a gymnastics meet, came home, had medals, had ribbons. I had never placed so high in the all around. And so my dad was a coach, my brother was coaching and playing, and
not gymnastics.
No, they were coaching baseball. So they came home, and I told my mom, like, hey, I was in bed, but make sure you display all of my stuff. And so they came in, saw my stuff, and I said, make sure they wake me up. So they woke me up, and I said, did you see my medals? Like, did you see how I placed? And my dad and brother were both there, which were my heroes. And my dad said, hey, we are the Barons. If you don't have a first place, don't come home, because we are the best. And don't come home unless you're the best. I can't tell you the crippling pressure that put on me. It took all the joy away, all of it. And I was paralyzed competing. That's what you're talking about.
Paralyzed competing, and if we can even go here, I mean, I wonder what that did to your view of the gospel.
Oh.
And your ability to embrace the idea.
I can tell you, because I live with her.
Well, that's why you have a marriage ministry now, right? Actually,
there's a sense of performance.
Yes.
She's always had. We've had conversations about this God, it's like she's driving. I'm like, I think there's grace.
I don't get the grace part.
We don't realize, again, so let's speak as parents. I don't think we realize that with great intentions, and Brian's always good about pointing this out, for most of the parents.
Their hearts are great.
Yes,
Yeah.
We love our kids.
Yeah.
We love them. We want the best for them. We want them to have something better than we had. We're haunted by our own regrets, and we don't want them to have to experience those things. We want to protect them from those sorts of things. And so what we inadvertently wind up doing is we put them under a performance pressure because we want them to get someplace. We want them to achieve something. And what it ends up doing is inadvertently, and you said it paralyzes them. They may not be able to say it. Again, because what kids are really, it's a rare kid that can articulate, this is stressing me, Dad, stop doing it.
I never said one thing to anybody.
No, you'll end up saying it to him. It ends up
years later.
It comes out years later in your marriage, or when you have kids and you start taking some of that unresolved stuff out on them. Again, this is where it gets really deep, right?
Yes.
So what if we as parents, and this is the other thing Brian and I say, we're not talking about being participation trophy people. No, we want to pursue excellence. Yeah. Yes, there is a place for performance. And of course, yes, we want our kids to try to do their best. But what if we left that to the coaches? And what if we as parents...
But the coaches are bad, Ed. Come on.
They are. Well, let's come back to that.
Okay.
Because a lot of them are. Okay. And so maybe God wants to teach our kids something about what it means to be under bad leadership. You think they'll ever experience that in their adult life?
Never.
Okay. So what if we as parents actually started to invest way more time in the things that we're actually responsible for before God? And that is being their first discipler. Most of us don't. That's not as comfortable to me. I'm way better at downloading 2 hours of critical input about how to be better on the court than I am thinking through how do I have a conversation about, I don't like the way you went through the handshake line today. And I don't like the fact that you seem to only be interested in yourself and you don't see any of your teammates or care anything about any of them. You're full of anxiety, and I have a responsibility actually to teach you how to lean into Jesus in the midst of that. And that's way scarier to me than to just say, buck up, and stop feeling that way. It's easier just to play that role and to focus on performance than it is to think about being a discipler.
Yeah. And even coming back to your situation, and I think most parents aren't going to come out and say that to their kids, but how many kids would feel that coming from their parents is my mom and dad are most satisfied with me when I perform well, or I get the most affection or attention when I perform well. And if kids' primary view of God comes from mom and dad early on in their life, man, we are almost imprinting this performance-driven mindset at such a young age. And what sports has an opportunity is we can actually flip that script. We can say things like, hey, before you even go out there today, I want you to know that I love you and I'm just so excited to watch you play.
No matter what happens.
And then making sure our posture and our words throughout the game reflect that truth. Like, what if our kids could end their youth sport experience saying, whether I was amazing or I was horrible, mom and dad loved me.
Yeah.
And that love was not dependent on what I did on the field or the court.
I mean, how does a parent get to that maturity? Because that's maturity. I mean, it's interesting. I didn't realize that at the time. I had a single mom. Dad was gone. She did that.
Yeah, she did.
She really did. I mean, she just thought it was great watching me play. Every game was awesome. I remember we played Fremont Ross, Buckeye Conference. Okay. Yeah. 10,000 people my junior year. And the quarterback was going to Michigan State, got hurt. So I'm now the starter. And it's the end of the season. And I remember it's the biggest game of my life at that point. And I go 2 for 12 with 2 interceptions and we lose. And I walk off. She's like, you were amazing. I'm like, Mom, I was terrible. Yeah. She didn't even care. And I really feel like I grew up, every sport I play, I enjoy. And I play with Anna and she's like, oof. I'm like, oh my goodness, that you carry that into your adulthood, what your parents put on you, she still feels. I remember we had our oldest son. He's an IT guy today. He's an engineer guy. He loves sports. He played them all, but he was not gifted.
You guys, this is such a picture of...
This is our marriage.
You can tell a lot about yourself by how you respond to watching your kids play.
So we're playing this little basketball game, and I'm coaching. How old was CJ?
He was probably 5 or 7.
No.
He was 7.
7 or 8 years old, and we're terrible. It's just... And, you know,
and I am like, CJ, I'm yelling from the court.
Yeah, with that tone, I can hear it. I'm stressed right now.
Get to the ball. Get to the ball.
She's in the stands. I'm coaching. I'm like turning around to my own wife, who's the bad parent. Like, shut up. And CJ's, you know, and so at one point he literally stops at midcourt. The game's going back and forth around him.
And this is where I'm like, CJ,
and he's staring at the scoreboard. And I know what's happening because I know my kid enough. So I go, hey, timeout. They all come over.
And he's laughing the whole time.
She's up there like, CJ. And he's like looking at me and looking at her. I go, hey, CJ. Well, what were you doing there at half court? And my other coach was coaching the kids. I knew what he's going to say. He goes, Dad, the scoreboard. How does the guy push those things? And it changes the lights on the scoreboard. I go, CJ, I have no idea, but I guarantee you will know someday. And that's his brain.
Yes.
And he came alive that way.
That's when I ended all of that. And it made me think, why am I putting this pressure on him?
Yeah.
I'm wanting him to become something that he's not.
Yeah.
Find what their genius is and flame it. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, that's good. Well, let me say this. Then you can go. One of the issues is we've almost trusted youth sports for too little. Like we're just trusting it for the high school opportunity or maybe the college scholarship.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about right now is this is affecting us today in our like 40s, 50s, and 60s. Like how our parents stewarded their youth sport experience with us has ripple effects today. And so, man, what if we trusted the youth sport experience for lifelong discipleship instead of just maybe overstressing about the score of a game when they're 12 years old?
Do we have to heal ourselves from the past before we can do that?
Huge part of what we've been talking about is, I think I do.
I want to hear your story.
What's that look like?
Well, I don't want to miss this point, though, because you guys were just saying some great stuff, and it was just bringing this picture to my mind. Brian and I have been having a great time referencing the prodigal son. The story of the prodigal son who performed really poorly in a stretch of his life, decides he's going to try to come back home. And what does he find? There's actually two people waiting for him. One is his father, whose arms are open wide.
He's running to him.
He's going to throw a party for him.
And his brother.
Let's go one at a time. Because dad, and I think the son is probably surprised to find dad with his arms open wide and getting ready to throw a party for him.
Yeah.
Yes, though he also comes into brother who's like, dude, you don't get to come back home. You know, Dad, what do you mean you're gonna celebrate him and not celebrate me? Okay, and there's this attitude, and I think too often what our kids are finding on the car ride home or during the game is stern older brother who says, you're not good enough to come home. Yeah. You don't deserve it. You're not living up to what you need to live up to. And you can hear that in my tone and my body language or my silence. It comes out in a bunch of different ways, or my constant correction, constant correction and fixing of you. Versus the father who almost seems naive, but he knows what the kid's done. Yeah. And he's still saying, based on our relationship, based on things that are true about us, regardless of how you've acted or operated, come home to your father.
Okay, how do we get to be that dad?
Well, okay, there it is. So we need to do some self-work first. Like I've had to do this. Again, I get one more shot at it, at least with my family. What is it that's driving me? What are my fears? What is it that I'm trying to prove to the world through my kids? Why is it that they have to play the sports I want them to play and operate in the way I want them to operate? Like, where is that coming from? For me, it's different insecurities. It's different, wounds, if we can use wound language from my own sports past. It's my own disappointments as I scratched and clawed my way through sports and just never felt like it was good enough. I want them to get past where I was. Again, those are not bad motives in and of themselves, but their journey is to be their journey. Like, why am I projecting my journey onto them and trying to force them to be the solution to my problems? Again, that's a hard thing to have to look in the mirror and even say to myself, but it starts there. But that's a really great men's group discussion to have. It's a great women's group discussion to have. Like, why, or a couples discussion.
Right.
How are we bringing our own past to bear on our current kids' situation? Fascinating conversation. And how do you heal from any of those things? You get them out into the light. You bring the gospel and Bible truth to bear on them. You lock arms with other community that says, I get that. I do the same thing. Let's stop doing that together. Like, how do we look different this week on Friday night at the game? Let's change. Again, because this doesn't have to be a decades-long process. Let's change and be different.
You know, one of the greatest passions of my life is growing spiritually stronger, going deeper, learning more, and connecting to Jesus more. And maybe you feel the same, or maybe you just want to explore what it looks like to follow Jesus. You can go to FamilyLife.com/strongerfaith, and we've got resources there that can help you grow in your faith. I really hope that you'll check it out because I'm confident that you'll find something there that will make an impact in your life. Go to FamilyLife.com/strongerfaith.
It's one of the things where we're hopeful, not just with this book, like we're hoping this turns into a movement of people who want to start doing this. It's really hard to do what you just suggested if it's just Ed Uszynski committing to do this on his own. But if he can lock arms with people in his community, maybe at a minimum with your wife, Amy, let's say, let's just do this differently. And then, man, can we lock arms with a couple of different friends and start doing this, holding each other accountable? So you got people in the stands with you who know you and know your tendencies and that you're prone to maybe say something when the ref makes that horrible call. And when you do, to have a relationship and expectation where they can say, like, hey, man, let's just chill out, and you can receive it because you know they love you. And so what we're like looking for is, man, what if we locked arms with people and actually brought our Christian faith to bear within the context of sports? Like, could that make a dent? Could that make any sort of difference in the world?
Well, so much of what we've said too that we need to do is just shut up.
What do you mean?
That might be bringing your Christian faith to bear. Is just stop talking.
Yeah. Shut up where?
On the way to the game, during the game, after the game, like literally. And Brian and I have actually really been implementing this perspective for the last couple of years, and it's made a world of difference.
With your kids?
Yes. My kids, my youngest, the ninth grader, he actually knows how to articulate better than any of our other kids. And on the way to a game, I was just give him a little bit of, how to get ready and what to do today. And he said, Dad, I don't need a hype man. I don't want to hear anything. Okay. Again, it hurts a little bit. And you want to kind of like, what do you mean I'm driving you? I'm paying money for this. What do you? Okay. Thanks for saying that. Stop. Literally also he's the one, even during a track meet, we're yelling, go Trey, go. And again, not even any instructions, but he said to me after the game or after the meet, I don't want to hear your voice during the meet. I'm glad that you're here, but he said it distracts me. I hear it out of all the other voices and it throws me off. It doesn't help me. Okay. And I don't even have to say after the game, like almost none of our kids on the car ride home, and Brian, you could talk more about this. This really has been researched. Almost none of our kids really want to talk right after the game about what happened in the game. I've been sitting there for 2 hours waiting to hit them with everything I've got. They've been waiting for the game to end so that they can get back on social media or go figure out what ice cream they want. They don't usually want to talk about the game. So that's what shut up means.
Yeah. If you, let's put ourselves on a Saturday morning at a soccer field. What are you going to hear from parents as the game's going on? Like, what are some of the things that people are shouting out at a youth soccer game?
Oh, we've all been there. Get to the ball. Go get to the ball.
Go. Kick it.
Stop.
Go.
Kick it.
Go.
Pass it. Score.
Pass it. Kick
Stop.
it.
Don't do that.
Go. Pass.
I mean, it's just nonstop.
It's chaos, and everybody's doing it. And so, let's put ourselves on the field. Like, literally, don't put yourself on the field, but mentally go there. You're one of the kids playing, and all you're hearing is go, 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 kick, pass, shoot, and it's chaotic.
Yeah.
And what sports does to our kids is it helps them learn how to be creative and learn how to make right decisions and wrong decisions. And when they make the wrong decision, when they pass it to somebody and it gets taken by the other team, they should learn next time I need to kick it maybe a little bit harder. But if all they're doing is being robots and just completely direct, like every step they're doing is because we're telling them, pass it right now or go fast right now. And just even how ridiculous that is in a game like soccer. Well-intentioned parents, we're yelling, go, go. They're going already. Like they're running and we're just saying, keep running.
This is so convicting.
It is to us too. Like I'm shuddering right now.
What we're doing is we're robbing them. We're robbing them of the ability to actually make these decisions and figure out, is this going to work or is it not? And that's how kids actually get better in sports, is when there's autonomy and creativity to make a decision and then figure out on their own. That worked really well. I'm going to do that again next time, and I'm going to do it better next time, instead of I have to listen to coach or I have to listen to mom or dad every step of the way.
And a parent could be thinking, I just want them to know I'm here for them.
For sure. That's why we say well-intentioned.
I'm cheering them on. You're right. It's well-intentioned, but you're absolutely right when you think of the kid, of what they're hearing.
They know you're there.
Chaos.
You brought them to the game. They know you're there.
Do you know about
mostly for me? Is really what it's
and then
mostly
parents
for
could
me.
be like, "Oh, they're yelling more. I better make
yell
my
more.
child know that I love them as much as them."
Just chaos.
I mean, do you know about the 12-year-old Cooperstown baseball tournament? For 12-year-old baseball teams, anyone in the country can go to Cooperstown and play a tournament. And they have these mini little league stadiums that look like major. It's awesome. Yeah. And they put you in a barracks, right? And only 2 coaches can stay with the kids. So I was one of the coaches, right? We go to Cooperstown. And by the way, kids are coming from all over the country and they're great. Yeah. Like we play 30 games, they play 180. You know, like we're not going to beat anybody. Yeah. But I remember I was coaching third base, and the way they set up the stadiums is that they don't have bleachers. They have a section for the parents right behind your dugout, right behind third base. And I'm standing at third base and I'm like coaching a kid, and they're all barking behind me, telling the kid what to do on second base. Steal, stop, whatever. Yeah. And I'm, signaling, let's go. And he's literally like, I see coach telling me to go, but my dad's yelling stuff. I literally had to turn around after like 3 innings of this, and I just did what you did. And I walked right over to like 20 of them. I said, shut up. And they're like, look at the coach. He's a pastor. He's losing it. I go, your kid is completely confused. Yep. He does not know who to listen to, what to do, and you're hurting your kid. I go, maybe I'll make a mistake and he'll get thrown out. That's my bad. But he can't have 15 coaches. But it's what the parents do. Yeah. Why are we doing this? What is going on?
Well, the why, again, it's why would a parent do that? Well, I've just traveled a long way to come here. I spent a lot of money. I paid a lot of money to be in this league. There's an expectation, that they would win and get better as an athlete. And so when you see what they should be doing, and you've invested all of this into them, and the quick fix is I just got to tell them what to do. As parents, again, we say it. We've got everything riding on this. And it's almost like they become avatars in a video game. We know, like, man, if we just can control them the right way, we know what they're capable of. We have all this confidence in who they can be. And if we can just control them as best as possible, they're going to get to it. But it really stems from, man, we've just got a lot invested into this, and we don't want to see a wasted investment. That's why we're saying, like, we as Christian people especially need to shift this investment from all about the earthly metrics to, man, what if we started looking for, instead of are they leading off too far on second base, what if we started looking for things like, are they actually paying attention to the kid who's sitting on the end of the bench who traveled this far and is not playing at all today?
Let's get into this discipleship piece.
Yeah, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it does.
We recognize that. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Ann.
Yeah, because, what you just said, they're going to recognize the guy. Who's going to do that? Unless you're intentional as a parent, pointing out these, and you're calling it discipleship, because sports can be great. It's so fun. And if we use it as a discipleship process, and parents are like, how do we do that? And you've given us some little tidbits. Let's go into that a little more.
Well, and they may or may not do that. Let's even using that example, paying attention to the kid that nobody else is paying attention to. Pursuing, I'll give you an example right now. Again, with my 9th grader, there's one kid who is part of their pack of kids. Okay. And he hasn't been hanging around them anymore. And all the kids were over our house one day saying, oh yeah, he's kind of gone off the edge somewhere. Again, they're in 9th grade. Like, what do you mean he's gone off the edge? Well, he won't respond to any of us when we text him. And well, have you actually gone and tried to talk to him? Well, no, they're all in school with him. So I just said to my son, wasn't doing this in front of everybody yet, but I just pulled my son aside and said, why don't you go talk to him at school instead of just throwing out texts that he's not responding to or whatever? You could talk to him. And I love Trey to death again, because he will say what he's thinking. He said, Dad, if I did that, that would be weird. Because nobody does that. Like, nobody goes and talks to each other or asks, where have you been? And I said, Trey, I know it would be weird. It's only weird, though, because nobody does it. And again, there's a whole bunch of things that we're going to do that are going to be weird because we follow Jesus. And that's kind of a follow Jesus type thing, that you're going to see somebody that might be struggling and initiate with them with words and just see what happens. He's like, yeah, Dad, I don't want to do that. Okay. I know, I get it. Okay. And so, but I don't know whether Trey, even at this moment, because it just happened a couple of weeks ago, I don't know whether he's done it yet or not, but I'm going to keep pushing that on him.
Yeah.
And I need to give more energy to those conversations unless he's in basketball tryouts right now. Am I concerned? Yes, that never goes away. How did tryout go, or how did you do today? We're not saying that goes completely off the list, but what if we just reordered it? And it's like, I'm going to hit you with way more of the go talk to your friend moment, because that's going to matter when he's 25. Whether or not he makes the team or where he's at on the hierarchy of good players as a 9th grader is not so much going to affect his marriage when he's 30. Whether he actually learned how to initiate when somebody looks like they're struggling should affect the rest of his life or her life. So how many other categories are there that are like that?
Yeah, let's say like too, if Trey were to do that, you're introducing this category, let's say he does it, the other part of your job as a parent is to go crazy.
Celebrate it.
To celebrate. We keep saying, man, what we celebrate, our kids are going to replicate. So we can't just introduce the categories. Man, we need to make sure we're cheering just as hard for those spiritual gains as we are for the physical gains. My son's a 9th grader football team. He's really small. He's a Smith, is not playing much. We run the veer. He plays wide receiver, so they never throw the ball in the veer.
They never throw the ball.
There was a game earlier this year where they did throw the ball once. He caught a pass. I was so excited afterwards to talk to him, give him a high five. And so he's coming out with the rest of the team. They're freshmen. They stink so bad. Like physically, they just smell. And I was like, buddy, great job today. That was so awesome, catching a pass. And he kind of pulled me aside and he's like, Dad, I prayed for the team today. And I was like, it didn't really like, it didn't register. I was like, yeah, what was it, like a 5-yard out, or did you ever like 7-yard out? He's like, no, Dad, in the locker room before the game, like the coach asked me to pray over the entire team and I did it today. And it was one of those moments where I had to be like, okay, Brian, just forget about the catch. Like this is awesome. Like a freshman on the team is praying for everybody before a game. And so as parents, like, yeah, we need to have these self-awareness moments of, man, what do I need to celebrate today? That is something that in 20 years will hopefully show up again.
Well, and why do I care? Again, this is just those gut check moments. Why do I actually really care more about the pass being caught than I do that he got to pray?
I did care more about that.
Tell us why Brian cares more about it. Why do you think he cares more about it? I don't think he cares more, but why does he care?
Well, again, I can answer for myself. I don't even need to put it on Brian.
Well, you know, Brian, what do you think's going on?
Well, he wants his son to do well, and he doesn't get to catch hardly any balls.
Yeah.
And
that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yes, it feels
I can
good.
tell you too. I go to the game, and this is where I need my own growth. I go to the game with an expectation of I'm really excited to see if he gets in, or I'm really excited to see if he gets to run a couple plays, or I'm really excited to see if in all of my if categories are on the field, instead of I'm gonna just try to observe today and see if I notice anything. I'm gonna try to partner with the Holy Spirit and say, like, how is he carrying himself on the sideline? What's his demeanor when the ref makes a bad call against him or a teammate? And I'm just gonna watch him to see if there's anything any glimpse God would give me in that moment that maybe later that night we can have a good conversation about.
The youth sport industrial complex has been discipling us. This is why, Dave, because we've been discipled to only look for certain things.
Yeah.
The ESPN culture.
Yeah, this is really important. We've been discipled to really, really believe at our core that winning, that having a third goal when the other team only has 2 goals in a 6-year-old soccer game really, really matters. Again, let that sink in. We've been discipled to believe that that really matters, okay? And what we're saying, again, we've all been discipled by that culture in an unchecked way because this almost never gets talked about in Christian spaces. It almost never. When was the last time you heard a sermon about how to live Christianly in the context of sports from the pulpit, or a theology of play? Again, that's almost a whole nother discussion, but we're not being discipled in our Christian discipleship spaces about how to think Christianly in the context of sports. So we're almost entirely at the whims of what sport culture is telling us we should be looking for on any given day that we're at a practice or at a game. And we're saying you can still look for those things. We're not saying that's bad.
You can do both. Do both.
But do both.
Yeah.
And right now we're at a deficit of Christian people who are saying, here's this whole other list of metrics that we're looking for as parents from the time they start playing until the time they stop, whether that's at 10 or 15 or their final game of their high school year, or they play to the end of 3 or 4 years of college. We want to have a different list of what it means to win as a human being and as a Christ follower in sports spaces.
What are some things on that list?
I mean, we could just start with the fruit of the Spirit. That seems like a good spot. If the Holy Spirit's already saying, I'm going to produce love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, that seems like a good list to say, God, man, as I watch my son Hudson today, would you help me to see some of this fruit in his life? Where are the gaps? Where can I speak life into? And just be quiet and observe and watch and enjoy the fact that your kid is playing a game and you get to sit in the stands and watch it. We keep saying too, like, we learn best when we experience something. For our kids, they get home at the end of the day, they've just been around people for 6-7 hours. And what do we ask as parents when our kids get home? It's
How was your day?
How was your day? Good, fine. And we don't know because we weren't in the lunchroom. We weren't sitting next to them in school. So we don't really know what happened throughout the day to be able to disciple them in those moments. I mean, whatever they give us, we can turn that into conversation.
At best, we're getting that. Some of us are getting, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
That's just the reality. Some of our kids won't talk to us at all.
I mean, I have a 14-year-old daughter. We're getting the warped version of reality. In sports, we don't have to guess at all. We're sitting in the stands. Many of us have a front row seat to seeing absolutely everything that's going on and every emotion possible. We get to see the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. We get to see the perceived injustices going against them. And we have the opportunity then, as their primary disciplers, to take what we're observing on the field and partner with the Holy Spirit to help them grow in their faith. But again, if we're willing to take this investment that we've put into it and look for those kind of spiritual gains.
If we're willing to grow in our faith first.
And that's really where it starts.
As Dave said, like we really do. I have to keep checking myself. Somebody said this, and this has been super helpful. In fact, somebody said this in the context of marriage, that the one place, regardless of what you've done in walking with God for the whole day, the place that you most definitely should have a quiet time is on the porch before you walk in the house at the end of the day. Whether you're the wife coming home or the husband coming home or you're both coming home at the end of the day. Because what I want to do is walk in the house and be served. But what needs to happen as I'm led by the Holy Spirit is I actually now get to be a Christian husband and go into the house and look to serve Amy and look to serve my kids and look to be their dad, okay? In the same way, maybe the one place where we need to have a devotional moment, all of us, is in the parking lot. As we're parking the car, we dropped them off at the curb to go into the stadium or the pool or again, whatever. And just have a quiet time moment there, either alone or as a couple, and just say, help us to have a patient attitude today. Help us to keep our mouth shut today, really. Help us to look for things that we don't normally look for. Help us to be more interested in the other kids and the other parents and what they're struggling with, which again, that's such a transformational approach to go into a game that I've been experiencing a little bit in this last year finally, where I'm actually starting to feel empathy for other parents who are just ripped to shreds because their kid's not playing, or he or she's not playing well and they're embarrassed by it. And it's like, how do I minister to them? My kid's worse. Like, he's not even getting in. Your kid's playing at least. My kid's not even playing. So my flesh wants to give energy to that, but the Spirit actually wants me to ask them questions. Tell me more about why you're struggling so much with that. Again, I kind of get it, but what's actually going on between you and your kid? I've had some amazing conversations with other parents. That's a really different way to go to a game.
Yeah.
It's such an open door to the gospel.
Oh my gosh,
because
Ann.
we're so vulnerable in those moments
Yes.
when our kids are struggling. And so to bring some hope or joy or just relationship, it's needed. And
Yes.
it's like being in a hospital.
It
Like,
really
people
is,
are open,
Ann.
and they are on the fields too, because you see kind of our best and our worst when we're at our kids' sporting events.
Well, I remember every single day when I'd walk down the little ramp to coach high school football, it was my Devo moment. I literally prayed every single day, Lord, do not let me be that coach or dad who's so into how they perform. Help me today to model Christ. Help my words to model Christ. Help me to see the ones that aren't playing on the side, get them on into practice. I knew everybody's watching me. Partly because you're chaplain of the Lions, you're a pastor, so we hopefully expect something different. But I just knew that's what I'm doing here. I'm not a coach. I am a model for Christ. And that's the same perspective I should have had as a dad, right?
I think you were really good at this.
That was amazing.
No, he really was, in terms of he put no pressure on our kids.
Okay.
He's like, if they've got it, they've got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to.
Here's my question. Here's what I didn't do well. And I'm not going to look at her. She's going to go, oh yeah, you didn't do this well. I wanted them to play at the next level more than they wanted to, especially my youngest.
You did. Okay.
And Cody got all the way to the NFL and played for the Lions for 2 years on a practice squad, and he kept pulling his hamstring. He did it 4 times, and they re-signed him 4 times, which in the NFL world, that doesn't happen. You're a free agent, you get hurt. I always said, Calvin Johnson pulls his hammy, they're waiting, but you. Anyway, so he got back, and then the last time he did it, the GM literally told me that day, he's a starter. This kid's a starter this year. And he pulled it 2 hours later, first day of training camp. And I threw the phone against the wall because his wife texted us that he just did it again. And I mean, I know Cody knew Dad wanted this for me more than I did, because he knew. He literally's like, Dad, he's called me to ministry. He's a pastor today. But I'm like, that can wait. That can wait. You don't understand. Ministry's hard.
Because it's so cool for your kid to make it.
But what is it going on in me, I think?
Well, think about it.
I wanted it more than, I mean, he wanted it. Nobody worked harder. But there was some in me is like, why is that? Why was I like, I was mad at God.
Because
I was like,
it's
come
an
on.
idol for all of us.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's
think
at the
about
heart of
it. We all gather. I'm so bad because this was my world and our kids were all in sports. But we go by these, what do you call it? What is the H?
USIC, the U Sports Industrial Complex.
Yes.
USIC.
So we go by any of those complexes, soccer, what you've got thousands of parents there. It's like,
it's a modern day temple.
It is a modern day temple.
It
and
is.
I said, like, it's our idol today. And so when we go by that, who doesn't want their kid to be the star? Like, and we all watch it on Sundays on sports. Like, what would it feel like if my kid made that catch?
Feel really good.
It would feel like, this is amazing.
Yes.
Look at me. Look at them. Where's God in that? And so for me, I think it becomes an idol. But for you, I think it was just so fun. And it probably was a little
It was fun,
idol.
but there was something broken in me, because I know when Cody was playing college football, I would walk in the stadiums really happy because I knew he's going to catch 10 or 12 balls today. He's going to be the star.
And you feel good about yourself.
And you're like, this is going to be awesome, you know?
Your
walk in like this.
Your kid's running well or performing well, and you feel like $1 million, and they struggle or drop the pass or strike out or keep hitting the ball into the net, and you feel terrible. You're like embarrassed.
What is
you
that?
feel shame.
Yes.
Okay. So again, I think we all get it. You talk about an idol and we throw that word around. One of the characteristics of an idol, why we hold it up as an idol, is that we think it's going to give us something that's going to fill a hole in us, or it makes promises to us that if you'll bow down to me, I will bring you some kind of satisfaction. Isn't that true for all idols?
Yes.
Things that we make into idols. So again, this is what we are trying to do for people. We all get it. What we want to say is that idol is lying to you. The youth sport idol is lying to you. It's lying. It's not going to deliver what it promises to deliver. Just enjoy, let your kid play. Let's talk about play again. Let them play this sport that they enjoy. It's a game. Let them enjoy it. You worry more about paying attention to what it means for them to walk with Jesus in the midst of it. And again, first, you make sure you're walking with Jesus in the midst of it. We need to keep saying that. And then you're going to be in a position to look for more ways for them to walk with Jesus in the midst of it. And really what we're doing in the book is just offering up practical ways. Here's things to look for.
Oh, it's so practical.
Here's questions to ask.
Here's what you say on the
Give
drive
us a few
to the game.
questions, like on the drive to or from the game.
Did you have fun today?
What if they say no? The coach was
No, that's great. Tell me why not. They do say no.
Do you want to talk more about why it wasn't fun?
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll just say no.
Yeah.
So
that's okay.
One of my questions
come back to
the last 2 years with my kids on the drive home, they get in the car. Is there anything that happened today in the game that you want to talk about? Can you guess what they say 99% of the time?
No.
No.
This is brilliant. This is worth the price of
So you
listening.
put it in their lap.
Yes.
And there's so many things I want to talk about.
Yeah. Are you kidding? I got 2 hours of stuff. I've been
I have
sitting
all
here.
the answers.
Who am I going to talk to
I have
now?
all the answers. I mean, I know why you're not getting passes thrown your way. It's because you should be running the 5-yard out and you're running the 7 instead.
Change your body language. You sit over there and pout the whole game. I wouldn't put you in either.
Go stand next to the coach when he's putting kids in instead of sitting on the edge of the bench.
So do you say that stuff? Like your attitude?
Not anymore.
Not on the car ride home.
Not on the car ride home.
And here's why. 70% of kids are quitting youth sports by the age of 13. So just let that sink in too. 70% are quitting by the age of 13. Wow. In large part, kids are saying this is the data, because it's not fun anymore. And many kids are pinning it's not fun to this car ride home experience. And again, let's say this again. Well-intentioned parents who are discipled by an ESPN overanalyzing culture. Yes. We want to coach, we want to critique, counsel, criticize. And what our kids need from us in those spaces is just to connect. They need mom and dad to just connect instead of try to fix everything that was broken. There's a psychological term called the peak end rule. It's essentially saying this is how we remember events in our life. It's by the peak moment of that event, but also how the moment ends. So imagine, again, let's go back to the soccer field. Something doesn't have to be a great moment, just some big moment in the game that they're going to remember it by. They score a goal, or maybe their friend scores a goal, or they get knocked down by somebody. How does every single youth sport game or competition end? It's the car ride home. And most car ride homes are well-intentioned parents saying, hey, maybe next time try standing next to the coach, or try running a little bit faster to the ball. Or maybe instead, when you have that wide open shot and it's on your left foot, kick it with your left foot instead of switching over to the right foot. You're waiting. So what's happening with our kids is they're remembering youth sport experience largely by this car ride home, where they're experiencing mom and dad just didn't seem like... It didn't seem like I lived up to what they wanted me to do.
No, and it almost never goes well. I mean, I did
that. Has it ever gone well? Like, has Trey ever said, like, man, Dad, thank you so much for that feedback?
No,
I'm
oldest
for sure going to do that next time.
My oldest son.
They're silent.
We talk about this in the book, actually. Like, I think we call it the 4 horsemen of the apocalyptic ride home. My oldest son, so he was the first one to get unsanctified dad.
That's a good way to put it.
And I hit him with everything. And I was his coach in basketball. So that's another thing. It's my sport. I'm the coach and I'm the dad. That just is like a trifecta of this is going to be bad. Well, he wouldn't say anything back to me. That's how he dealt with it. He would not respond to any of my statements, my questions, my harassments.
Give us just a picture of that conversation of how you would bring it up.
Why are you being so passive on the court? You're never going to get the ball. I've been telling you this for literally weeks now. They're not going to pass it to you. And if they don't pass it to you, you're never going to get to shoot. You've got to get yourself open.
So you're not yelling?
No, I'm
you're
driving.
Coaching.
Well, that's pretty stern. I am coaching. It is somewhat stern. It's exasperated. It's dad saying, I'm starting to struggle watching this. I hate watching this in my son. So I'm driving. I'm looking straight ahead.
It's also true.
It is also true.
You're well-intentioned.
This is what I don't like about what your mom did, which I want to love what your mom did, but let's just say this. I want your mom to say, yeah, you were bad today, but I still love you. Yeah. 2 for 12's lousy. Look, let's go get ice cream.
Hey, thanks for bringing it back up.
I still love you.
We need to have a little session.
Can I go cry somewhere?
But let's do both, you know? And so,
yeah.
So I'm
My
not
mom's
getting
in heaven, so you didn't hurt her.
I'm not getting any response. Nothing. So now I'm looking at him like, you have anything you want to say? No. Well, why not? Do you not care?
Oh, gosh.
Do you not care about this? Are you okay with never getting the ball? Because you know what's coming next. You're not even going to be on the court anymore because we can get anybody just to run up and down passively. That's another thing. You could get rebounds. Like you're one of the taller kids. Like this is what it turns into, right? It just keeps going.
This was my life with every brother sports after every single game. Okay. This was the conversation.
So I got silence from Eric, and we've worked through all this.
Yeah.
He's 25 now. We have a great relationship. Can we say I have apologized a lot? Okay. And so again, we all feel like we've done this wrong. What do you do with it? You start with apologizing, just like you do in your marriage. You repent. Eric, I'm sorry I did that. This is what I was afraid of for you.
What's he say now about it?
Again, and every kid's different.
Yeah.
He loves me for being honest with him, and he actually ended up playing college.
Yeah.
Again, completely different route. It wasn't because I harassed him. Okay. And it's a whole nother story. So we have a great relationship, but he was already a person of few words, but he sure wasn't going to process any of this right after the game. Now, my daughter, Maria, and Jack, they had different variations on, why don't you just stop talking to me right now? This is none of your business. Why do you want to talk about anything that just happened? The game is over, Dad. Leave it alone. Okay, I would get that from both of them.
My second grader once said, I think when you're batting, I think if you had your elbows up, he goes, Mom, I don't want you ever to say anything to me. He's my verbal one. He's the youngest. Thank goodness. Yeah. And he goes, I don't want you to ever say anything to me about anything in sports. Okay. I'm like, well, I'm just trying to help you. He said, whatever you think that I did wrong, I'm thinking it a million times more than you are.
Wow.
He could express that. And I was like, whoa. So your kids, they're verbalizing all kinds of stuff.
So I'm on the fourth and I'm listening to all of them. And it's just, I don't yell stuff at him anymore. I mean, you can change. We don't have to keep repeating the same mistakes. He has asked me not to do it. That's something you could do. What do you want from me during games?
Yeah.
That's a great question. That's a great question. What do you want me to do? How do you want me to be present for you at games? And you know what? They might not even have an answer right away.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can say during the game? How do you want me to cheer for you?
How do you want me to cheer for you that would be helpful?
Same thing about on the drive there and after.
Totally. What do you need?
Do you want me to say nothing before the game, or would you like me to pray? Anything.
Good day.
Maybe prayer put pressure on them too.
Yeah. Exactly. So we don't want our silence to be indifference either.
This is so hard, you guys.
Lord, I pray that Eric today would play with aggressiveness. I pray that he would catch and shoot quickly.
That's called a passive aggressive prayer. That's what
okay.
Would you say though, like now that you're fixing things with Trey, like even
now
as
that you're finally,
even as he like is just getting done with his golf season, like have you enjoyed this version of Ed as you show up at the course more? Or you still have this like inner angst of like, I want to say all these things?
Oh, both for sure. The reason why I'm enjoying it though is I know it's true. I really believe what we're saying here right now. We're not just saying it. We've seen it. We work with college athletes. This is not going to end well. My harassment of him is not going to end well for him or me or us. And so I can make a different choice right now because what I want is for him to come home at 25 for Thanksgiving because we're still in relationship with each other.
Yeah.
I don't want him to resent me through his 20s. Again, this is what we don't realize this, but over a decade's worth of this kind of pressure causes our kids to not want to come to us with anything when they get in their 20s.
Feels abusive.
Yeah, youth sports, because we're spending so much time in youth sports.
I mean, that
It's
fact right
shaping
there
our relationship.
shows how critical it is that we do this right as parents.
Talk about it, Dave.
I mean, seriously, if your son or daughter in their 20s doesn't want to come home, or even comes home but sort of like, that's something we've done wrong.
Well, I probably am treating them in other areas of life the same way I treat them in sports.
Right,
So
right.
I'm this way with their boyfriend or girlfriends. I'm this way with their grades. I'm this way with their college choice. It's the same pattern. It's constant disappointment. It's constant pressure. It's constant you're not quite measuring up to what I want you to do. Again, it's this imagined future that I have for you, and you're not pulling your end of it. And they feel that.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with
Parents
that?
are pushing back. They're like, so we say nothing?
It doesn't mean we say nothing. It means what we say has a tone and posture of grace.
There.
So like, man, I really want my kids, when they inevitably mess up in life, right? When relationships don't go well, when they look at things on the internet maybe that they shouldn't, I want them to know that they can come to mom and dad and just say like, hey, this happened, and not have a history of us screaming at them during their youth sports games and competitions where every time they mess up, mom and dad were really upset or disappointed or let down. Because what's happening, again, we're teaching them, when you mess up in sport, we're going to respond with this older brother mentality.
Good, Brian.
So, man, I do want to use words. I do want to talk, but I want to save the most words probably for when they're the worst at sport. Like when it goes the most poorly, I want to let them know that they're loved. Like, hey, you and coach may not be good right now, but me and you we're good. I still love you. Here's what you did well today. I know you went 2 for 12. That was not good.
Hey, you guys gonna keep bringing up?
You brought it up. You put it on the table. Here you go. Can I train myself to say you were 2 for 12? But and again, this isn't a cop out. We do sports. We hang out with people at a high level of sports. You were lousy in the game today, but your preparation was great. I watched you during warm-ups. You did everything that you could have done in warm-ups to be ready. You had a lousy day. That happens.
And not this, which parents do. You're 2 for 12 because the guy ran wrong routes. He dropped 3 of your balls. Those guys are losers, man. You were. You know what I'm saying?
Is that where some of the incompletions came from?
I have no idea. I doubt it. I probably threw them into the stands. But that's what parents do.
They blame the coaches.
They blame the coach.
the
They
other
blame
players.
everybody else. I mean, in some ways, and again, when I read your book, I thought this is what you're saying. The sport, whatever sport it is a vehicle.
It is, Dave.
For your goal for your son or daughter is to become like Christ. It's just a vehicle. Because we know this. I don't know the number. It's got to be 90, 95% of all these kids, even at high school level, are never playing at the next level.
Oh,
They're not gifted enough to play on a full Division 1 or 2, 3 scholarship.
But they have other gifts.
They have other gifts. But we are so into the sport that we don't think, wait, the sport is it's a gift from God as a vehicle to help get to the Christ-like character we want. When you say it should be play and fun, that should be the goal. This should be fun for them. And if they have a coach that's a horrible coach,
and mean.
Like Ed said earlier, it's like, okay, maybe there's something they can learn about playing for somebody that's unreasonable, or they're better than the kids that's playing in front of them.
That's right.
And it drives you crazy. Guess what? They're going to learn.
Yeah.
Well, my last question would be like, if you're married and maybe you're the culprit that's like, oh man, this is so convicting. But a lot of times we can hear this for our spouse. Like my husband or wife, they're out of control.
Yeah.
You know, so it'd be the temptations, I'm going to send this to them, or, you know, which could be good.
Yeah.
But What are your suggestions?
Well, what is the communication climate in our relationship right now?
good.
Yeah.
Because we've already said, we just spent an hour talking about this is sensitive and it's tapping into lots of emotional spots inside of our bodies.
And maybe
Lots of
wounds,
triggering.
Wounds and triggers and idols. I mean, we've used a lot of big language, okay? So there's probably a lot more going on that, does need to be talked about. But if we don't have a communication climate already in our marriage where we can talk about sensitive things, then no, I probably wouldn't just send the podcast over to them because that's not going to go well.
Right.
There needs to be some other healing maybe that needs to take place in other areas of our relationship so that we can have these kinds of conversations. If you do have a communication climate, though, where we can say, hey, I heard a podcast the other day, or there was a book written, I think we should read it together and see if we can have this conversation together. That's why we wrote the book.
I was
It
going
really
to say,
is.
have you had couples or small groups go through this? Because I'm thinking a small group and a community of people, that would be helpful.
We're starting to get stories of, small groups of churches doing it.
Yes.
Christian
schools who are giving it to their to all the parents who are signing up for a sport that year. Yeah.
That's really good.
So the book is called Away Game, A Christian Parent's Guide to Navigating Youth Sports. And you can get the link. Click the link in the show notes at familylifetoday.com.
We could do this for days talking about
So get
this.
it.
Hey, thanks for watching. And if you like this episode,
You better like it.
just hit that like button.
And we'd like you to subscribe. So all you got to do is go down and hit the subscribe. I can't say the word subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. I don't think I can say this word.
Like and subscribe.
Look at that. You say it so easy. Subscribe. There it goes.